Hey guys, it's your favorite English teacher, but not your favorite videographer, Logan Oliver. There I am again. We're gonna get this straightened out. Boom. All right. Um, so I want to go over a few things for this week's module. Uh, Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about Essay 1 that I now have graded. I hate that it was so close to the deadline for Essay 2. Guys, I'm working as hard as I can getting those to you. Um, you'll see that I gave feedback where it was needed. I even went so far as to add in a lot of grammar issue fixes to help you with that. We all had a little bit of trouble with grammar. I think a lot of us knew better than some of the issues we had with grammar, but we didn't go back and proofread well. Um, and you've got to do that. We talked about the writing process and the third part, the rewriting. When you go back and review and revise and edit, that's extremely important. I mean, that could have saved you. Some of you guys would have taken you from an 85 or a 90 to a 95 or a 100. Overall, we did really well on the test, but I found some overall issues that everyone kind of faced or a lot of people face. So if don't think that I'm talking to just you, if you made this mistake on your paper that I'm going to discuss. That if I'm talking about it now, it means that several people had this issue. So first of all, guys, don't use ellipses in your papers. The dot 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 in formal essays, those are used very specifically when we use sources, when we are skipping parts of a quote. Like we want to use a part of a quote that's way up here, and then there are several lines in a part of a quote that's way down here to show that there's stuff in between. We use an ellipses. Don't do that for effect. Let your words be your effect. So try to stay away from. A lot of us use ellipses. I don't know why we did that. So don't use an ellipsis. Um, uh, Except in special occasions. I'm not saying never, but we definitely overused them. Chances are that out of the 10 times that you want to use an ellipsis, only once would it be necessary. MLA format. Guys, I gave you guys a narrative essay example during, I think it was the essay 1 module. It might have been the assignment 1 module, but I think it was the essay 1 module. It showed you exactly how to set up an MLA format. This is an online class, so some things you have to figure out yourself. I can't tell you exactly, take you through the computer to show you exactly because we're not in class together. So all I can get you to do is show you how it needs to be done and you mimic it. So you've got to go back and look at that narrative essay example. If I have MLA format um, feedback on your paper, some of us had extra space between our paragraphs. A lot of us did. When you're setting up your Word document, you need to go to the paragraph at the top of the Word page, click on it, and under spacing, as far as paragraph spacing, it should all be set at 0. Everything there should be set at 0. So when you go into that paragraph, I'm looking at it right now. It's when you go into a Word document, at the very top, the third little tab is the paragraph where it's got all the line spacing and the indentation and all that. You click on the little square by paragraph and make sure that everything in that paragraph, as a matter of fact, I'll look right now. Click on the little, your indentation left and right should be 0. Your spacing before and after should be 0, and your line spacing should be double. Bottom line. So that's how you fix that issue. If you're having trouble, if I mentioned spaces between paragraphs, too much space between paragraphs, that's how. Be sure that your thesis statement is the end of the first paragraph. Most of us did that. We had really good thesis statements. The problem was is that some of the thesis statements, though good, were not thesis statements at all. I had a thesis fragment that wasn't even a sentence. I had a thesis question. Those thesis statements don't need to be questions. They need to be an answer to the overall question, which is, look, here's the main point of my essay. Another really nitpicky MLA rule that we need to go over real fast. A lot of people did this. When you have a word in an essay, when you have a number in an essay, if you can write out that number in one or 2 words, you do it. So instead of writing a 20, write 20, TWENTY. 25, same thing. And there, by the way, a hyphen goes in between the 20 and the 5. 100, 100, that's 2 words. Write that out. Don't write the 100. I know a lot of us learn that if it's between 1 and 10, we write it out, and if it's more than that, we put the number, but that's not accurate. If you can spell out, if you can spell out the number in 1 or 2 words, spell it out. If you can't, like 135, that's 4 words, that you put 135 in the digits. So that's the rule there. By the way, you access your papers by going into My Grades in Blackboard. It'll pop up all your assignments. You click on Essay 1, and it'll have all my feedback on the right. At the top of that feedback, it'll be hard to tell where I'm talking about what. At the top of that feedback, though, there's a little X. Click on that X, and it'll open up and have a line drawn to exactly what I'm talking about in the paper. So where the feedback is, when you open up your assignment with the feedback on it, where that feedback is in a gray column, you just click on the X at the top of that, and it'll make it easier for you to tell where the feedback is in relation to your paper. Our main points are going to come from a blog this week. Basically, what I want you to do is go back and review your essay. How do you fix basically the blog question will be, how do I fix the next essay based on the feedback I gave you? It needs to be over 200 words. If I just gave you a couple of pieces of feedback because you wrote an amazing paper, then just focus on what you're going to do on this next paper that you feel like will be better than to make this paper better than the last paper. Bottom line, just give me over 200 words. Just make it happen. These vlogs are basically journal entries, guys. So I just want you to think it out and write it out. So if you get a lot of feedback, talk about, okay, I made a bunch of grammar mistakes. Here's what I'm going to do to make sure I don't make those mistakes again. And you explain it. Go take me through exactly, I'm going to have, my mom read this or whatever. But again, if you made I don't think I had any hundreds, but I think I had a 98 and a 95, which is fantastic grades. If you just got one thing that I mentioned, then, okay, MLA format is something I've always got to fix if I want to get 100, because that's the only thing I missed. But I know there's some other things I could do differently to make this process easier. Just give me something. Just give me my 200 words. I just want you to think about your process, think about what you did wrong, and how you're going to write a better Essay 3. I'm hoping to have Essay 2 graded by the end of this week. I know that's fast, but that's my plan. My other classes are finished, so I can really focus on you guys. There will also be a reading assignment that you guys will obviously need to focus on. There may or may not be a quiz on the reading assignment toward the end of the week, like it pop up like Friday. Maybe or maybe not. You guys need to be checking your email every single day. You need to be logging into Facebook. No, please, log into Facebook as little as possible. Log into Blackboard every other day, I would say. And you guys are pretty much doing that. I don't see anybody who's just not logging in ever. But keep up with that. Those are kind of the things you need to keep up with doing to make sure you're logging into Blackboard every other day and checking your emails. I'm only going to open the quiz if it comes. It's pop quiz. I'm only going to open up quiz for 2 days, 48 hours, which means if you don't check your email, I'll send an announcement so you'll get it in your email also to let you know it's there. If you don't check your email every day, and if you don't check Blackboard every other day, then you're going to miss out on it. It'll be situated in the current module, so you'll have to go there and look. So that's part of the quiz, is seeing if you're checking your stuff. That's pretty much it. This will be a pretty easy week. You'll have some reading. You'll have the blog and possibly a quiz toward the end of the week. So just do those things. We're through kind of the basic stuff. Guys, overall, we had great essays. So I'm super proud of you. And as always, let me know if you have any issues. You can text, call, or send me an email. And by all means, if there's something you need to discuss or something real specific, don't be afraid to use the phone. But anyway, that's it, guys. I hope you had a good 4th. And some of your stuff will be up by noon today, if not all of it. And if it's not up by noon today, it'll be up by the end of the day. So I'll get that all up and ready for you by then. I've got it all, it's all done. I just want to go through and make sure everything is just right before I get it to you. So have a great day. Take care. Have a good week. Holler if you need me. Bye.